we're gonna talk about wisdom teeth, which is potentially a stretch, but just ride with me, okay? So in a room this size, I'm gonna go ahead and say that probably everyone has had them out. Is there anyone who hasn't had them out? Oh my gosh, okay, sorry, I'm really gonna tell you about my awful experience, so just, yours will be better, okay? Yours will be better. Okay, so here's how it went. I went to the dentist, the people were so kind, I really don't remember much other than waking up. I woke up, and if you know me, like, I'm not super emotional, I love people, like all that, but I don't cry. I was sobbing in the chair, like sobbing, like ridiculously, hysterically sobbing. And of course, COVID, my mom couldn't be inside, so this woman, the dental assistant, she's holding my hand, and she's being so kind to me. She's like rubbing my hair, and I'm just crying and thanking her for being so kind to me. Like, it was as if she had laid down her life. Like, I just was so appreciative that she was being so kind to me. So I wake up, she puts me in the wheelchair, and she wheels me out to the car where my mom was waiting. They had a really cool system in place, but we'll talk about it another day. She put me in the car, and she gives me this like tiny little circular ice pack. One side is blue, the other side is like kind of rough. It was like there was some fabric, and I just thanked her like no tomorrow. So she puts me in the car, closes the door, and sends me on my way to absolute suck for 2 weeks. I get home, my mom helps me up the stairs. We live in an apartment complex, so I get out of my cold car to the hot outside, then we have to climb up 2 stairs, like 2 flights of stairs. I get in the front door. This is my first time under anesthesia, so I am so nauseous. Like, I just like lay on the floor and stayed there for a good 15 minutes because I'm hot, I'm just not feeling good, I'm in pain, my face is swollen. If I knew the process that was waiting for me at that point, I would not have thanked that lady so much, let me tell you. This was like excruciating pain, okay? The medicine, it did not alleviate any of my pain. Nothing was helpful to me. I was weak. There was no relief. I couldn't eat, I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk. This is too much information, but I couldn't brush my teeth. Like, I was over this process so much. Okay, let me tell you. Despite having 4 teeth just ripped out of my mouth and just being in pain and not wanting, I just was not having the time of my life. I wanted a chimichanga from Tijuana Flats so bad, like so bad. It's all that I wanted. Not like you're not hungry, you're in pain. I don't feel. It's all that I wanted. Okay. Oh man, I'm even thinking about it now. Like, I would have walked there. I would have walked 20 minutes to get one. Okay, but let me ask you: have you ever had an experience like that? Like, something is just not good for you. Like, you should not be having chimichanga when you just got your teeth taken out. But you just didn't care. It was against medical opinion, but here's the thing, my flesh wanted it, okay? So, Romans 8 mentions this, and it says, "You, however, are not in the realm of the flesh, but in the realm of the Spirit, if indeed the Spirit of God lives in you. If anyone does not have the Spirit of Christ, they do not belong to Christ. But if Christ is in you, then even though your body is subject to death because of sin, the Spirit gives life because of righteousness. And if the Spirit of him who raised Jesus from the dead is living in you, he who raised Christ from the dead will also give life to your mortal bodies because of his Spirit who lives in you. Therefore, brothers and sisters, we have an obligation, but it's not in the flesh to live according to it. For if you live according to the flesh, you will die. But if by the Spirit you put to death the misdeeds of the body, you will live." Okay? Take this from that. If you live by the flesh, you will die. If you live by the Spirit, you will live. If I would have lived according to my flesh in that moment and ate a chimichanga, it would not have gone well for me. I probably would have puked, and honestly, I really probably would have needed more surgery because my mouth would have gotten infected, and it just would not have been well. It would have elongated my healing process. It just would have just not been good. So many not good things, okay? Take that and know it. This is applicable in life when you live by your flesh. If you live in a way that leads to death, you're going to be living by your flesh. Death. I wanted to, like, that point hit me when I was really like, you're not becoming bad, you're not becoming away from God, like, you are living a life that leads to death. Living by the Spirit makes you alive. This is what God desires from us. We have to live with a mindset that it's not about us or what we desire. Our identity is as a son or a daughter in Christ when you're led by the Spirit. Further on in Romans, specifically in verse 15, it says, "The Spirit you received does not make you slaves so that you live in fear again. Rather, the Spirit received brought you your adoption to sonship. And by him we cry, Abba, Father. The Spirit himself testifies with our spirit that we are God's children. Now, if we are children, then we are heirs, heirs of God and co-heirs with Christ. if indeed we share in his sufferings, in order that we also may share in his glory. We gain when we deny our flesh and what it desires. I desired chimichanga. What I needed was applesauce. And the applesauce helped my mouth heal in the right amount of time with no additional surgery. God offers us a choice between a chimichanga and applesauce. And today I just challenge you to take note. What is your chimichanga? It's a funny comparison, but everyone has one. What are you desiring that is a solely fleshly desire? What are you desiring that is leading you to death? I want to leave you with an encouragement. God calls us to his purpose, and let me read this to you. It's verse 30 in Romans 8. It says, and to those he predestined, he also called. And to those he called, he justified. Those he justified, he glorified. What then shall we say in response to these things? If God is for us, then who can be against us? He who did not spare his own son, but gave him up for all of us, how will he also, not along with him, graciously give us all these things? We are more than conquerors in Christ.